How's it going, YouTube? It's Panda time. You might have noticed that I have not really been uploading videos recently. And the reality is that I'm a little bit burned out from content, and I think it's because I'm just not enjoying the Digimon card game as much as I previously did. So in this video, I kind of want to share my thoughts, ask you guys questions so I could see how you guys feel. Is this just something, that I think, or is this just how the community feels overall? Because I feel like I've spoken to friends and other players, and I think a lot of people are feeling the same about the game. And overall, I feel like the game has gotten worse. And I would say that it's kind of been going downhill since BT9. And looking forward, I don't think it's going to get much better. That said, I'm not one to sit here and tell you the game is dead or anything like that. And I want to make it clear that I absolutely love Digimon as a franchise. And I've loved the Digimon card game ever since I started playing it, before it officially came out. I've had a great time. I've met some amazing people. I've gotten to commentate events, compete in them. I did the Digi Showdown. We got top 3 in DigiFest. Like, I've done some amazing things, and I've really enjoyed my time with the game. Making content has been a blast. So overall, my experience with Digimon card game has been really, really positive. And right now, maybe I think it's okay for me to take a break and slow down, see what's going on with the game, and maybe we can come back later and enjoy it more. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to play right now. I'm just not playing it as much as I was. I think a lot of my issues with the game is the design philosophy and when the game is going. I feel like when the game started, obviously the power level was kind of low, which is to be expected from a brand new game. And I feel like originally you had a lot of back and forth between you and your opponent. Games took a while. You had to make multiple stacks to close out a game. Thinking back about 1.0, 1.5, BT4, even BT5, right, with the Lord Knight Oppression, I was still able to play my fun decks and do well. I had a Nokia Garurumon deck. I played Mastamon and did really well, winning multiple Store Championships with that. So I was always able to play my tier 2 rogue decks and win by outplaying opponents because my skill and skill expression allowed me to do that. I feel like as the game progresses, it is harder and harder for me to do that because the power level has gone up drastically. Power creep is a thing, and it's to be expected in really any card game or any game in general. But I feel like it's kind of going in a way where I don't like it, where we walk into BT9 and it's just like, hey, can you count from 2 to 6? If so, you're going to win the game, right? The Garurumon deck, the X on the body were just too strong. And even decks like, say, the Wargreymon, which was by no means a tier 1 oppressive deck, but you played against it, and I'm sure if you played the game, you've had this, where you play against the Greymon player, they sit in the back, they build their stack, they come out, and they swing for 5 checks, not checking options, and then they blitz on you for game. And that happens, and you're sitting there, and you're like, could I have done anything better? No, there was nothing you could have done. There's no interaction. There was no thought process between what you're doing with your opponent. Your opponent didn't care what you're doing. They had their combo, they come out and they win. And it's not even say a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where your combo might be this complicated, complex, convoluted interaction of cards that you have to learn and memorize and practice. No, your combo is you counted from level 2 to level 6 and you won the game because of it. And I don't like that, and we've had decks like that in the past, such as the Green OTK, so I'm not going to say it's never been an issue. It just feels more prevalent than ever before when you have decks like the Garurumon where they don't even go to a level 6. And I say that as someone that plays Garurumon, right? I love Garurumon, and the deck is dumb. You make a level 5 and your level 5 wins the game on its own. Doesn't feel great. I feel like the power level has gone up drastically, and the difference between what are the tier 1 decks and everything else, that gap has gotten so big. I feel like the way that I like to play the game is not really viable anymore. As I was saying, previously I liked to build fun decks, play wacky things, and I always found great success doing that. Whether it be playing locals at PPG, even going to events, doing webcam tournaments, where I was able to place top 32, playing Ancient Garurumon in BT4, do well with the Mastamon, earn my invite to nationals, playing things like that. get top third at DigiFest when I was playing Magnet Rumor and everyone else was playing Tommy builds, right? Like, I feel like that just doesn't work anymore. When I try and make tier 2 decks work now, like for example, 4 Great Dragons came out. It's a really fun deck. I like it. I like the idea. I like what it's doing. It's cool. This is something that I would have maybe had success with in the past. And now I try to play this against the Garurumons, against the Bloom Lords, against the Shoutman, and it just doesn't work. You get clapped so hard. And the thing is, like, I don't mind losing games, but it sucks when you lose and it wasn't even close. Like, the gap is so big between what I'm doing and what the tier 1 decks are doing that it just becomes really not fun. And sure, you could sit there and play tier 1 decks, but tier 1 decks are not exciting to me and they're very basic and they kind of play themselves and now they build themselves too. So I feel like the skill expression for the game isn't there. Games are over so quickly that outplaying your opponent in little instances doesn't give you an advantage anymore, and you win the game just by making your big stack that everybody could do. Everybody can count 2, 4, or 5 or 6 and just swing with your Garurumon, swing with whatever and win the game. And it kind of feels bad. I'm not really enjoying it. When I look at the future, BT12 does not seem exciting to me. I don't really like the save mechanic, or the Digicross is not exciting to me. And like the decks now, it's like either they're good enough to take on the current decks and therefore their power level is insane, or they're not and then they're just going to get absolutely crushed, right? So it's like we have this big discrepancy on what can be played, right? Like, again, For Your Dragons is just one example, but like it can be played. You cannot, like, go try it. It's not gonna work, right? Or the new stuff has to be so absurd that it can combat the Garurumons of the world, right? And I think this is not really a problem about like the ban list. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like, oh, if you ban or restrict card A or card B, it's gonna fix the game. I don't think so. I think it's just that the design philosophy overall, and everything is so strong that it's really hard for decks to reach that bar of like, you must be this tall to play the game, you must be this strong to play against tier 1 decks. It's just kind of hard to get there now. I feel like a lot of the decks now are kind of just breaking core mechanics of the game. Like, as an example, I recently playing against Bloom Lord, who I would say is a tier 1 deck, but it's not even the best deck in the game. And I remember like I put my opponent to like 1 memory, and then they like promote, suspend Agitar, summon guys, Digisaur, play something else, do something else. And it's like they start with like 1 level 5 and they end with like 2 level 6s, and then they have gained memory from doing this. And I'm sitting there thinking about the game and how I've used to play, and it's like, what is the point of the memory system if instead of you doing plays and it costs you memory, it's like you're doing plays and you're gaining memory because of it, right? And it's like, well, if a deck doesn't respect the memory system and my deck does, like, how is it even remotely fair, right? Like, I'm sitting there digivolving, trying to go up a stack, trying to do cool things, and then my opponent is like, oh, I play Shoutmon X whatever for 1 and I gain the memory back, and by the way, my guy draws 3 and it has rush and it can restand my tamers and do all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there and it's like, well, what is the point of summoning sickness if you could just play your big stack, your level 6, and it has no drawback, you can attack instantly and it costs no memory? Like, why am I paying memory and all their stuff they don't have to and they can just attack, right? So it just feels like the cards that are made kind of just break the core game mechanics, and I don't really like that. Looking at like, say, Black or Greymon in BT11, it's like, oh, so you're gonna have this guy where it's unaffected by options and it can't be de-digivolved and it can't be destroyed by card effects, and like it's just like, that doesn't seem fun to me. It's like you break the core game mechanics too much and it just leads to gameplay that is not too exciting, especially when the games are so short and they end so quickly that the decisions you get to make feel like they don't really impact the game. So that's kind of how I've been feeling about the game. I know I'm just kind of ranting there, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Is it just me? I'm definitely going to like step back, take a break for the meta, and we'll see what happens. Maybe BT11 is hype. BT12 does not look hype to me. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about the game? Are you still enjoying it? Do you like the direction that it's going? Or are you concerned? And again, I don't think the game is going to die. If you're still enjoying Digimon, by all means, go play it, have a blast. I'll still be at nationals, right? But I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from. And the game is not that fun for me right now, so I don't really want to sit here and make a bunch of content. A lot of stuff in my life has changed as well. Like I moved, I'm working an 8-hour-a-day job. Makes it hard for me to like sit there and do content after that. So I hope you guys understand. But you know, who knows what will happen in the future. I definitely want to try Battle Spirits. There's a Shadowverse TCG coming out. I still want to play other things like say Street Fighter 6 and other genres and games. So I'll probably still make content for stuff if I still enjoy it in the future. And hey, if I'm having fun, then you'll see more Digimon videos in the channel. I don't know what's going to happen, but I hope that you guys have enjoyed all the content that I've put out. And you know, if you have enjoyed it, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm not sure when the next video will go live, but yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later.